Hi everyone, welcome to another video from me, Mike at Lanzarote Information. Now today we're going to be talking about the island's Sociedades. Have you heard of them? And if so, which ones have you been to? Let us know in comments so we can crowdsource as many of them as possible. But if you haven't come across them, you don't know what they are, this video is for you. I'm going to explain the background to them, how they came about, and why they are Spain's best value bars and restaurants. The Sociedad is an institution in rural Spain. Now, you're not going to find them in the tourist resorts of Playa Blanca, Costa Teguise, or Puerto del Carmen. The Sociedades you will find in the island's villages. For example, in Punta Mujeres, in Macha, in Magues, in Teguise, in Mazdache, in Guatiza and more. So those are the kind of places you will find Sociedades. Now these came about during the time of Franco, and the idea behind them was that they would provide a good value place where villagers could go and eat and drink. And generally the building itself is owned by the town or the ayuntamiento, and they provide it to the townspeople or village people. And the town or village people form a society, a sociedad, where they are all members. And as members, they pay a monthly or annual fee. So effectively, the institution is owned by all the people that become the members. And they have elections where they choose who is going to run the sociedad. Generally, it's a couple. One of them will do the cooking, the other will run the bar and front of house. Although over the years, as they've grown, and I'll tell you about our own Sociedad shortly, they tend to have many more staff rather than just being run by a couple. Now, the members or socios have an election every few years, so if they're happy with the couple and want to keep them on, they do. If they're dissatisfied with what the couple are doing in terms of the food they're offering, the prices they're charging, then they can just choose a new couple and bring them in. It's in some ways a sort of ruthless system, but it's also a very effective system, and it means that the people who run the Sociedades, if they want to stay there, stay on top of their game and keep offering great value for money food at sensible prices, because they don't want to lose what is in many cases their home as well as their business. As well as being able to vote for the people running the Sociedad, the socios also get discounts on food and drink. Now, if you live in a rural village anywhere in Spain, you can join as a socio of your local Sociedad, and when you go in, you'll get a different set of prices. Typically, it might be 20% off the price of food, 10% off the price of drinks, for example. And a lot of the Sociedades have rooms attached to them that can be used for various things. I'm going to give you the example, as I said before, of our Sociedad in Aria, which is called La Tegala. It's run by David and his wife, whose name escapes me for a moment. When we first came to the village, which was getting on for 20 years ago now, it was just the two of them. Over the years, it's really grown, and they've got half a dozen staff now. David supervises the front of house, his wife supervises the kitchen side, but they don't, actively work in the business day to day these days. And like many Sociedades, they've got rooms off that they rent out for example, the local yoga club to use, or for events that are going on, or for screenings of movies and things like that. But let's go back in time for a moment. So these first started springing up in the 1930s, as I mentioned. Where they really came into their own was in the late 40s and early 50s, when television was first being broadcast in Spain. Now, in common with most other places, televisions, when they first became available, were massively expensive, and the average person simply couldn't afford to have a TV in their home. And that was really where the Sociedades came into their own, because by splitting the cost among all their socios, they were able to afford to buy a television. And they were the first sort of organisations throughout Spain to get television, and they'd install the television in one of these other rooms, and people would come along to watch the main programmes of the week or the day. And indeed, a lot of them then became known as the Teleclub, so the club with the television in it. And you'll hear Canarians still referring to their local Sociedad as the Teleclub. Some of them even have Teleclub signs outside, so they use the word Teleclub rather than Sociedad. For example, the one in Punta Mujeres is known as Teleclub Punta Mujeres. So let's bring it back now to here in Lanzarote, and there are Teleclubs, Sociedades all over the island, and they really range in size from tiny little places that do a little bit of tapas and a few drinks to larger ones that have quite a sophisticated menu. For example, the one in Guatiza does super steaks. The one in Macha is probably the king of the tapa on the island. They have one of those massive glass cases. You can walk in and choose some boquerones, a little bit of tortilla española, perhaps some ensaladilla rusa, or whatever you want from the selection there, and they'll bring it to your table. Many of them, as you would imagine, specialise in fish, locally caught fish, the highest quality and the freshest fish. What they all have in common is that they are good value for money. Even if you're not a socio and you're paying discounted prices, you'll still find them significantly less expensive than many restaurants, and certainly less expensive than the restaurants in the resort areas. They don't go very big on frippery, so some of them might have quite basic tables and materials and menus and knives and forks and so on, but the food is just always good quality, served piping hot and with a smile. Now, some people get nervous about these because they think they're like private clubs. They're not. They're all open to the public, so whether you're a socio or not, you're very welcome just to walk into a Sociedad and ask for a table and sit down and have a meal or a coffee or a drink or whatever it is you want. Now, I've mentioned a few in this video that are on the island. It's over to you guys now. Which Sociedades have you visited? Which ones do you rate very highly? Leave a comment below, let me know. Let's build up a really good portfolio for anyone coming to this video so that they can start to tick them off their list. The ones I've been to recently, just to give you a starter, and I'm going to have to look at my iPad to do this, but Mazdache, Teguise, Macha, Aria, of course, Punta Mujeres, Maguez, and we also recently discovered the one in Los Valles, which is very good. So there you go. Leave us a comment, please, with your suggestions. If you liked this video, please give us a like. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that we do this video on a Tuesday, which is an informational one. We do a walkabout video on a Thursday, and we do the Lanzarote news every Saturday morning. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified when all of those videos land. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now.